Good morning, I'm Rosalie. Today we'll feature new benefits for veterans and create awareness of a new life-saving blood test. Reveal the outcomes of a study on life planning during a crisis and making a life commitment to love. All when we return. Every 2.3 minutes, someone is diagnosed with lung cancer. Lung cancer represents 13% of all new cancer diagnoses. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death, regardless of gender or ethnicity, taking over 154,000 American lives each year. According to the American Cancer Society, there will be over 18,000 new cases in Florida, resulting in 10,000 deaths this year. Joining us this morning is Dr. Luis Reyes with the Memorial Cancer Institute, Pembroke Pines, Florida, and his patient, Lynn Spadaccini, to discuss a new blood test from Guardant Health as the first FDA-approved comprehensive liquid biopsy to offer hope to lung cancer patients and their oncologists. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Doctor, why is 60 to 65% of new lung cancer diagnosis among people who never smoked or former smokers?
The disease is shifting. You know, we used to think that it's a disease of smokers, but it's not true. And also it's a disease of senior people. That is not true. Now we have a lot of patients that are below 40, non-smokers. And that's why we are doing all of these molecular testing, genetic profiles, to identify what are the causes of these lung cancers. And we have identified 9 genes as today that cause lung cancer, and there are FDA-approved agents for these 9 genes. That's why we have to do these liquid biopsies and molecular testing.
Share some recent developments in treating patients with advanced lung cancer and how the prognosis for these patients evolved during the past decade.
It tremendously has improved because we went from a palliative chemotherapy that we didn't know who is going to respond, who is not going to respond, that now that we do a molecular profile, originally we used to do that in the tissue for the last 5 or 6 years, and in the last 2 or 3 years, we start to do in the blood, meaning that we isolate tumor from the blood of the patient, and we run the molecular testing there, the genetic analysis of that tumoral DNA, and then we can make the patient eligible for one of these 9 target therapies. These are oral therapies with minimum toxicity for the patient and excellent quality of life.
What challenges do oncologists face to determine whether a patient is appropriate for personalized treatments? And how does a liquid biopsy make it easier to test lung cancer patients?
Oh, let's make it easy. So every new lung cancer patient needs to have a molecular testing. As I said, we used to do it in the tissue, but if it's not possible in the tissue, it can be done in the blood. And nowadays, thanks to the FDA approval, we can do in the blood in every single patient. So every patient can have access to this technology and this knowledge and be eligible for one of these 9 oral agents instead to be going for empirical chemotherapy.
So lung cancer biomarkers or genomic testing looks for changes in the tumor's DNA?
You know, these oral agents are effective more than chemotherapy. They are less toxic. They prolong significantly the lives of the patients, even in metastatic disease. And you can still do 5 years from now chemotherapy if it's needed. So that's why all of these treatments and discoveries are adding extra time in the lives of the patient with very good quality of life. That's why it's becoming mandatory to do in any new patient with lung cancer, a molecular profiling with the blood or with the tissue.
This testing is crucial for a patient to extend their life.
These blood tests, these liquid biopsies done by Guardant Health and other platforms, they shorten the diagnostic time. In tissue, the molecular analysis takes 4 to 5 weeks. In the liquid biopsy, it takes 8 days and no more than 2 weeks. And also sometimes in the tissue, there is not enough tissue to do the molecular analysis. If the liquid biopsy is done in the blood, we can always draw more blood and give the patient the benefit of this information for their treatment.
Lynn, share with us how you dealt with the news your lung cancer progressed to stage 4.
Well, First of all, of course, it's a scary diagnosis, and you have to have a doctor that you completely trust. He immediately wanted to do the blood biopsy. We did that. We found that I have a EGFR, which allows me to take targeted therapy. So it gives me hope that I have the quality of life I'm having right now. Knowing I have stage 4 lung cancer, I feel good. I can do what I want. So it's been a really good, strong therapy for me, and I feel very blessed.
Lynn, when were you first diagnosed?
Initially, it was in October of 2018. It was stage 1 at that point, and I had an upper right lobectomy, and I was all clear for about a year and about 3 months. And then in April of 2020, I found that the cancer had returned.
What gave you hope?
Yeah, I am someone that feels it's important to educate yourself. And so even though I was stage 1 initially, I started connecting with people that were survivors and started reading about lung cancer and following their stories. And I knew that there were lots of new treatments out there. I knew that there were targeted therapies and immunotherapies that might help. And so that's what gave me hope, that it wasn't just a take chemo or, that there may be some other things that I could take that would give me a good quality of life.
Lynn, tell us how Dr. Riaz helped you identify the appropriate treatment.
We did a blood biopsy. We did the Garden 360, and the results came back quickly, and we found that I had a targetable mutation.
So, Lynn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I feel good. Most people wouldn't never guess that I have stage 4 lung cancer when they see me. I can do what I want to do. I walk, I travel, I do all the things that I did before I had the lung cancer.
Lynn, what advice do you have for others who are faced with similar diagnosis?
I would say start by finding an oncologist that understands lung cancer. And then I would push for that genetic testing of your cancer so that you can determine whether or not personalized medicine will help you. I think educate yourself, advocate for yourself, and then have hope. There's lots of treatments out there, and one of them may work for you.
Doctor, tell us where our viewers can find more information.
About this liquid biopsy, they can go to the website of Guardant Health. And the most important thing is to empower yourself and ask your doctor. If you're a lung cancer patient, you need to do this genetic testing. So that's very important for your future and your prognosis.
Thank you, Dr. and Lynn, for joining us to create awareness of the new liquid biopsy blood test that offers hope to advanced lung cancer patients.
Thank you.
Mentoring opens doors for students and job seekers with disabilities. Open the door to an all-inclusive workplace. Watch the upcoming episodes of Disability Mentoring and get involved in your community. Be a mentor. Florida has the third largest veteran population in the nation. As our veterans age, they need affordable health care options. One option for our 9 million U.S. veterans over 65 or disabled is the Medicare Advantage plan. It also rounds out the benefits they may already have through the Department of Veterans Affairs. Joining us this morning to share information to help eligible individuals and veterans and include Medicare Advantage plan that best suits their health care needs in 2021 is Ed Sandricks, Director of the Veterans Channel for Humana. Good morning, Ed. Nice to have you join us again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Ed, it's that time again for the annual Medicare enrollment period. So tell us, when does it start and when does it end?
Sure. The Medicare annual election period began on October 15th, and it'll extend to December the 7th. It will end at midnight on December the 7th. So there's plenty of time for individuals, seniors, and certainly veterans to take a look at the options they have and where they live to make sure they make the right choice for the plan that they're going to be using in 2021.
There are different benefits in Florida than in other states, right?
The options vary from state to state. Many of them are the same. This year, Humana has the Humana Medicare Advantage plan called the Humana Honor Plan, which is available in 46 states, including Florida. And the Honor Plan was designed with veterans in mind, particularly those veterans who use the VA. It's designed to complement VA healthcare, but it's available to anybody who's on Medicare. And the Honor Plan has a robust dental coverage, access to an urgent care network, zero premium in all the markets where we offer it. And this year, the Humana Honor Plan is recommended by USAA. We're very pleased to have that recommendation. USAA is known for its customer service and its commitment to the veterans and military families.
For those of age and are eligible beneficiaries, what should veterans know before selecting a Medicare Advantage plan?
The checklist includes things like the provider network. So make sure that when you're looking at a Medicare Advantage plan, that your primary care physician and specialists that you'd like to use, that you currently go to, are participating in the network, and the hospitals they work at are also included in the network. Take a look at the cost, the premiums, the monthly premium, the out-of-pocket cost, co-pays, deductibles, co-insurance, and the like, and medications. Seniors in particular are reliant on prescription drugs, and you want to make sure that the drugs that your providers are recommending for you are in that Medicare Advantage formulary. And the other thing is the expenses, your expenses that you've incurred during this year. You anticipate the same sort of expense or more in 2021, so you want to make sure that you consider the budgets as well.
All right, so Ed, how can Medicare Advantage plans and a veteran's VA benefits work in synchronization?
They work side by side. So an individual who's eligible for the VA healthcare system can use the VA healthcare providers when they want or need to. At the same time, you can use the Medicare Advantage network. They don't compete with one another. They don't jeopardize the other. There are many myths and misconceptions among the veteran community that if an individual enrolls in original Medicare or certainly takes Medicare Advantage, that they may jeopardize their VA healthcare, which is certainly not true. They're entitled to both. They can use both, and they can use them side by side.
So that applies to the Humana Honor Plan. What is the distinction between regular Humana Medicare plan and the added benefits offered on the Honors Plan?
Well, it includes, as I mentioned, a robust dental option. And again, this is the second year we'll be offering the Medicare, the Honor Plan at Humana. It is designed to complement VA healthcare, but it's available to anybody who uses Medicare. A robust dental network, access to urgent care providers, and a zero premium across the country.
So Ed, let's say it's late Saturday evening and a Humana member has to go to an urgent care with their Humana Honor Plan. Will they take that plan?
Well, it is a network of urgent care providers. So as I mentioned earlier with regard to checking the network where the physicians and hospitals are concerned, the network is important on urgent care as well.
So how can our viewers interested in this plan connect with a licensed agent safely?
As always, Humana has from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening licensed agents on the phone. So an individual can go to humana.com/Medicare to see what plans are available through Humana. And if they would like to talk to a licensed agent, they simply press the button and they'll be connected to a licensed agent they can talk with over the phone. We also have licensed agents across the country who are available to talk with individuals over the telephone or perhaps through the internet.
Any other resources you want to leave our viewers?
Medicare.gov does an excellent job of illustrating to individuals what's available in your particular code. And as I mentioned, humana.com/Medicare is a great resource for the Humana plans.
Thank you, Ed, for joining us with important veteran information on Medicare plan options.
Thank you.
Being in love is tough during a pandemic, with restrictions on weddings and large gatherings all on hold. But not on hold is couples showing their love for one another when getting engaged. In fact, a recent study said more than 6 in 10 engaged couples say staying at home restrictions strengthen their relationship. Joining us to discuss how couples can prepare to say I do in style is Sally Morrison, the Director of PR for Natural Diamonds at De Beers Group. Good morning, Sally.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sally, has research revealed more or less couples getting engaged during 2020's COVID pandemic?
Well, what we're hearing around the country is a lot more people are getting engaged, and we thought that was sort of an interesting piece of information. And so we did some research with Dr. Terry Real, who's a relationship therapist. And he said part of this has very much to do with COVID. And when people are sheltering in place, they're together every day, going through something which for most of us has been an extremely challenging time, it has led them to reconsider what's important in their lives. And primarily that is the person they're going through this with. And that has sort of led to an acceleration of people saying, okay, this is important to me. I want to commit to you forever. Let's get engaged now. So that was his sort of insight about why we're seeing this phenomenon that's being reported around the country.
So what's most important for couples to consider while looking for a diamond ring? Is it the quality or the size?
I'm not sure it's either of those things, actually. I think because we're in this like more personal, reflective moment, it's all about authenticity and sort of personalization. So I think what couples are looking for are simple, iconic, symbolic expressions of what they're feeling, something that reflects them. So something that is very particular to her style, that is, perhaps got personalized engraving in it, is a shape she particularly likes, something like that. And it's less about overall how it looks to the world. It's not about how big it is, it's about what it means to them. And of course, a natural diamond has been for many, many years the absolute authentic symbol of real commitment and love. So it's no surprise that people are turning to this in this year of, crazy, crazy social change.
The old adage, what's old is new again. So there's a trend for going back to traditional styles of diamonds. Why are customers choosing simpler, classic styles?
I think that's exactly right. And I think it's for the reasons we talked about. It's less about what everybody else sees. It's about what they feel. So what we're seeing is a real interest in very, very simple, iconic diamond rings. And we have a couple here. These actually come from Zales. Beautiful. These are quite large ones, but they're television size for you. But they're very simple, classic setting, simple band. The diamond is just floating on its own. We're also seeing, in terms of that interest in personalization, very classic silhouettes that are being slightly tweaked or reinterpreted to make them just a little bit different. And I've got a really great set of examples of those right here. These are Forever Mark engagement rings, and these at the front show the beautiful way you could take an oval or a cushion, perhaps twist it round and set it in a different direction. Again, put your own take on it by selecting the shape of the diamond, but again, it is still that classic expression of an iconic diamond engagement ring.
Did you know engagement rings can be traced back to ancient Egypt? The 1947 slogan, "A diamond is forever," promoted by De Beers, came to be because in the late 1930s, most engagement rings had no diamond. Share some important aspects of how to pick a diamond, and is a bigger stone a better investment?
I think that's an interesting question. I mean, obviously, there are investment grade stones, but I think the important thing about a diamond ring right now is really about the emotional investment. It's about what it means to you and how it represents your inner life and represents the connection you've made to someone else. So I think the most important thing, and certainly in terms of the consumers we talked to, the size of the stone was not such a great consideration. It was about the shape, it was about the style, it was about personalization, perhaps what was inscribed inside it, and what it means to them and the person they're in the relationship with.
It's more heartfelt than ever.
Yes.
Tell us where our viewers can find more information.
I think there's lots of really great websites around with beautiful inspiration. Forevermark.com has some wonderful, wonderful photographs and pictures to inspire you, lots of different styles and designs. Or you can go perhaps to your local mall jeweler's website, whether it's Kay.com, who have a beautiful, they have the Leo cut, which is their proprietary cut, a beautiful diamond again. Jared.com. There are so many great stores that have really wonderful websites, because I think everybody has really upped their digital game, right, during this year, during COVID. So they've really put a lot of focus on that, and I think it's a great place. We do know that 86% of people considering getting engaged start that journey online. So everybody's doing their research there, and then when you're ready to go for it, then you can go into stores.
And Sally, there's nothing like holding a diamond and trying it on. It's very empowering love-wise.
And trying it on for sure, yes.
Thank you, Sally, for joining us to share new trends in couples getting engaged and committing to love. Mentoring opens doors for students and job seekers with disabilities. Open the door to an all-inclusive workplace. Watch the upcoming episodes of Disability Mentoring and get involved in your community. Be a mentor. The 2020 holiday season will look very different to millions of Americans planning to spend less while staying positive. That's according to a Fidelity Investment study that reveals how Americans are managing both financially and emotionally with major life events. And now, the holidays in the midst of a pandemic. Joining us to discuss the findings from this study is Senior Vice President of Life Events Planning at Fidelity Investments, Stacy Watson. Good morning, Stacy.
Thanks for having me.
Stacy, share some findings of this study that relates to Americans' stress level as COVID cases spike here in Florida.
Well, 2020 has been a super challenging year, to say the least. And so through this Moving Forward study, we wanted to understand how Americans are coping during the pandemic. And what we found is anxiety is high, and 70% say they see no reduction in stress anywhere on the horizon. And they're worried about family health, educating their children, especially with everybody at home, job security, even 6 months from now, and their financial future kind of long term. And so with all that in mind, over half of them said that when it comes to their finances, they're going to be preparing differently in the new year. But there is some good news, and that is that the human spirit is incredibly resilient. And 80% of Americans said that this pandemic is teaching them that they can handle way more than they thought they could. And also, people are finding silver linings, like stronger connections with friends and family.
What have you found as Americans' top 2021 concerns?
Well, I think there's just so much uncertainty going on. And so people are worried about all kinds of things, including, what's going on with their family, lots of concerns about education, whether it's educating your children with everyone at home, or thinking about college, or paying down student debt. There's just so many things for people to be thinking about. And I think that's why they don't see a reduction in stress coming anytime soon.
Did the study look at how people are planning for the holidays this year and hoping family can enjoy life together?
Yeah, well, we did ask that question, and 8 in 10 people said that they expect that they're going to spend less this holiday season, but there's still a lot of holiday cheer. Most Americans said that they're going to stay positive and roll with the changes, maybe even come up with some new traditions. And many actually suspect that they may even enjoy the holidays more because they'll be simpler.
Besides everyday challenges, We also have upcoming holidays, and people need to manage their life changes, like a job loss and possibly a moving. Many people are moving from New York to Florida. Are there any life hacks to help people handle the unexpected?
Yes, and in fact, Americans shared with us in this survey tips for how they're coping, and many recommend tackling kind of one obstacle at a time. Break a problem down into small pieces, and just taking those first few steps forward can give you this sense that you're getting back in control. People also said, plan ahead. Those who have a financial plan in place have this greater sense of ease and confidence and optimism about their financial future. And then finally, remember, you're not alone. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
The study's research lead psychologist, Andy Reid, said, thinking about others actually has several benefits in times of crisis. Although uncertainty comes in many shapes and sizes, it's important to remember to think outside of ourselves. It's easier to understand when we're fearful for others versus being fearful for ourselves. So what do you suggest people do to accept life and live less fearful and less stressful?
Yeah, and I love that idea of Andy's, that, we're all part of something bigger, and we're all living in this new normal. And even so, people are still moving forward. People are still getting married, having babies, searching for a new home. And in fact, 2/3 of the survey respondents said that during the pandemic, they'd been through some major life event, like job loss or caring for an elderly parent. And so we've created at Fidelity this new digital resources that covers over 30 major life events and help people navigate the financials, the logistics, and the emotions so that they can make good decisions and feel confident. And you can find those resources at fidelity.com/life events or on the Fidelity mobile app.
Thank you, Stacey, for joining us this morning and sharing the importance of planning to financially and emotionally survive major life events.
Thanks for having me.
Life is full of options and decisions. So planning does help us to think outside of ourselves, to live without fear. Share with us your plan to live life to benefit all in your family at facebook.com/Rose Lee Show and follow us on Instagram @The Rose Lee Show. Watch this episode and many others 24/7 at RoseleeArcherShow.com. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you soon.